to my motto, nothing's ever holding back.
Alright everyone, welcome back to the Lone Road iRacing podcast. I'm Guy Robertson, your host, with a bit of a cold, so you're going to have to excuse my voice this week. This week's episode is all about something that I genuinely believe separates the drivers who rise from the drivers who stay stuck in the same iRating range for months or even years. This week we're talking about racing smart. Not racing fast, not racing aggressive, not racing like your whole identity depends on winning at turn 1. I mean racing in a way that protects your car, protects your ratings and stacks points. Because if you've been on iRacing for any amount of time, you know this is truth. You don't lose iRating because you're slow. You lose iRating because you keep throwing racers away. And today I've got a perfect example that proves the whole point. I've got one of my racers that we're going to share the full race footage. For the YouTube version, you'll be able to see it in the background. I'm going to play this footage for the entire episode so we can talk through it while you literally watch the decisions happening. And here's the headline. I qualified 17th out of 22, I think, and finished 6th. That's 11 positions gained. I earned 11 iRacing points, and I finished with only 1x. Now, here's what makes that special. I didn't do it with dive bombs. I didn't do it with desperation moves. I didn't do it with the crazy late breaking hero moves either. I did it with 3 things: patience, awareness and smart decisions. Decisions that anyone listening can apply starting today. So whether you're watching on YouTube or listening to this on the audio versions of the podcast, let's break it down exactly how smart racing turns mid-pack chaos into clean results and iRating and SR gains. Before we even talk about lap 1 and start the footage off, we need to define what racing smart really means. Because a lot of drivers think the word smart means slow or conservative or boring. It doesn't. Smart racing is not slow racing. Smart racing is high performance decision making. It's risk management, reading the room or the race, predicting stupidity, choosing battles, protecting momentum, recognizing traps before they happen, and understanding that sometimes the smartest pass is no pass at all. Smart racing is driving in a way that gives you, future self, the best chance to finish. And this matters because most iRacing races don't end with everyone still running. They end with missing cars, broken cars, penalties, spins, tow times, meatball flags, and that is why smart drivers climb. Now, we're going to start the footage now, and you'll be able to see right from the very start the prediction of chaos. This footage is from Summit Point in the FIA F4. So we're going to talk through the rest of the podcast while the footage unfolds. So for audio listeners, you're still going to get a great insight into what smart racing is all about. You don't win most races on lap 1, but you can absolutely lose them on lap 1. And in iRacing, losing the race on lap 1 doesn't mean losing that event. It often means a -80 iRating, a 0.4 safety rating loss. Tilt into the next race, and suddenly the entire week is ruined. Now, smart racing is the opposite. Smart racing is saying, I don't need to win every corner. I don't need to fight every car. I don't need to prove anything to strangers on the internet. Smart racers play the long game. They accept that P6 is sometimes actually a win. They understand that good finishers stack points, stack ratings, and unlock better races. And the best part, smart racing works even if you don't have elite pace. Because this race I'm talking about today, P17 to P6, wasn't built on raw speed at all. Excuse me. It was built on calm thinking, and that's something every iRacer can learn. Now let's set the scene. I qualified P17 and instantly I know what kind of race this is going to be. When you start around 17th, you're not in the clean air. You're not surrounded by perfect, consistent drivers. You're in the zone where drivers are overconfident, inconsistent, emotionally reactive, and desperate to gain 6 places immediately. And you can feel it before the lights even go green. The revs are higher, the weaving is aggressive, the braking test is late, and you can almost hear the mindset through the screen. Excuse me. I'm better than this grid. I'm going to fix this in one lap. That mentality is the reason rookies became Wreckfest and why D-Class can feel like a battlefield. So what did I do? I decided before the race even started that this was not going to be an ego race. This was going to be a patient points race. Excuse me. Here's what I told myself on the grid. That one is not a lap time contest. I will brake early and leave margin. If someone is faster, I will yield. If someone is reckless, I will let them go. I will only pass when it's clean and safe. I will not go 3 wide unless forced. And I will finish this race even if it means being patient. Because from P17, bravery is not what you need. You need discipline, and discipline is hard because it feels like you're giving up control. It feels like you're letting others decide your fate. But smart racing is about creating probability, and you're stacking the odds, you're letting the chaos take itself out, and trust me, in iRacing, chaos always shows up. Right, if you're watching on YouTube, this is where the footage begins. We're on the grid, lights are about to go out, and I want you to notice something immediately. P17, most drivers launch like they're escaping a burning building. Everyone wants to win the drag race into turn 1. And we know on Summit Point, it's the fastest straight going into virtually the slowest corner. Everybody thinks that if I'm not aggressive, I'll get swallowed up by the pack. But this is where the smart racer flips the script. Because lap 1 isn't about overtaking. Lap 1 is about surviving the decisions of people who can't control themselves. Key smart move going into turn 1 is brake early on lap 1. When we approached the first major braking zone, I broke a little earlier than normal, not massively, not timidly, just early enough. Excuse me. So I'm not rear-ending someone, I'm not reacting late to chaos, and I give myself an escape route. Cold tyres turn iRacing into a lottery. Cold brakes change stopping distance. Excuse me. And people brake early and late in the same corner, meaning you must anticipate both. Smart drivers treat the first braking zone like a potential accident, not an opportunity. The second key smart move is keep the car straight. This is actually one of the huge smart moves here. You don't want sideways moments early on. Even small slides called temperature tyres just spike unevenly, instability and a loss of confidence in the next corners. A smart lap is clean, stable and calm, not flashy. Excuse me. Third key smart move is avoid 3 wide situations. This is probably the biggest iRacing killer in early laps. The moment you go 3 wide, you're basically betting your whole race on the competence of 2 strangers. And that's not racing, that's gambling. So if you see it developing, I back out slightly, I lift, I widen my entry. Because smart racing is saying I will happily lose half a second right now if it protects my whole race. And you know what happens next? People ahead start collapsing into each other. Someone misses the braking point, someone gets turned, someone overcommits, and suddenly, without even being aggressive, I'm gaining positions. I'm not passing because I'm faster, I'm passing because I'm still alive. And this is the key lesson. The race rewards survival more than bravery. Now, if you're watching, keep your eyes on the pack ahead. Notice how many cars are fighting for space and they never truly owned it. Notice how the same drivers who were desperate to gain 2 places end up losing 12. That's smart racing in action. Now, let's talk about one of the hardest lessons to accept in iRacing. Sometimes the car behind you is simply faster. Not just they're close, not they've got a draft, I mean genuinely faster. And this is where ego destroys races. A lot of drivers feel that letting someone through is weakness. They think if I don't defend, I'm losing. But smart racers understand a deeper truth. If someone is faster right now, defending usually hurts more than them. Hard defending compromises your line, increases tyre wear, increases risk of contact, slows your lap, invites a dive bomb, and creates pressure that causes mistakes. So when a faster car caught me, I used smart driving. I didn't slam the door, I didn't block on every straight, I didn't defend like my life depended on it. I made the pass predictable and clean. Sometimes that means lifting slightly to give the inside. Sometimes it means leaving space and focusing on the exit. Because here's the magic, if you lose 0.2 of a second letting a faster driver through, but you avoid a crash that would cost 40 seconds, that is just smart racing. That's intelligent survival. And you know what else? A lot of faster cars are only faster for 3 laps. They overdrive, they cook tyres, and they tilt. So you let them go, and later you pass them clean while they're in the wall, in the gravel, or limping with damage. Smart racing is letting the impatient drivers self-destruct. Now what about dive bombs? Dive bombs are the most predictable thing in iRacing because the drivers who do them usually follow the same behavioural pattern. They are impatient, inconsistent, emotionally reactive, and desperate to gain places instantly. And the smarter racer doesn't react to dive bombs. The smart racer sees them coming. Here are the signs. They keep flashing the nose from too far back. They move late in braking zones. They change lanes under braking. They appear out of nowhere on corner entry. They're unstable mid-corner and they're close enough to pressure you but not close enough for a safe pass. Once you've identified this type of driver behind you, smart racing becomes. Excuse me. You don't do a brake test, you don't slam doors, you don't take apexes with zero margin. You become the adult in the room. Sometimes I will brake slightly earlier, turn in slightly later, protect the exit and leave them no chance to use my car as a braking aid. Because this is the lesson. Dive bombers don't want a clean pass. They want a forced pass. Smart racers don't participate in forced passes, and if you manage it correctly, what happens? They overshoot, they slide wide, they get slow exit, they collide with someone else, or they get a penalty. Once again, without aggression, you gain. This is why awareness is more important than pace. You don't need to be faster than the dive bomber, you just need to be smarter than them. We're having a quick pause here to mention our sponsor, Outlap, who are supporting the podcast. Outlap is built around the side of sim racing we don't talk about enough. The focus, the preparation, and mental work that happens long before the race actually starts. It's not about hype or loud designs. It's about process, patience, and showing up ready, whether that's in the rig or stepping away from it. If that side of sim racing resonates with you, you'll find Outlap quietly ticking along in the background. I want to thank Outlap again for sponsoring the podcast, and the link to their sim racing apparel store is in the show notes. Now we hit the phase of the race that most people overlook, the middle stint. This is where smart racers quietly win everything, because the middle stint is where tyres settle, fuel loads stabilise, the pack spreads and the drivers relax. This is also where mistakes start creeping in. The driver who dive bombed early is now overdriving. The driver who fought every battle is now mentally drained. The driver who slid around on lap 1 is now overheating tyres. Meanwhile, the smart racer is doing something boring. Consistency. Smart racing in the middle stint looks like hitting the same braking point lap after lap. Clean exits, low incidents, no panic moves, and calm decision making. This is where I gain positions without doing anything dramatic. Cars ahead make mistakes, cars ahead ran wide, cars ahead touched curbs too hard and lost control. And because I kept the car stable, I was always in the right position to capitalise. Another key point here, smart racers protect their rhythm. They avoid battling when battling costs lap time, because battles are lap time killers. You can lose 2 seconds fighting for one position, only to get overtaken by 3 more cars because you slow both yourself and the other driver. Smart racing is knowing when to fight and knowing when to let the race come to you. Now, later on in this race, there was a backmarker who, for some reason, decided to overtake me and go in between the car I was chasing and myself. Now, excuse me again, I don't understand that mindset when that racer is not racing for anything, and there was no other backmarkers within 10 to 20 seconds ahead of us with a couple of laps to go. Anyway, that's the decision that driver made. So, a backmarker. And if you raced iRacing enough, you'll already know backmarkers are not easy passes. Backmarkers for me spell danger. They may be slower or even faster, but they are totally unpredictable. They might move in the wrong direction at the wrong time, brake unexpectedly, let you through mid-corner, rejoin badly, or race you like you're fighting for position. And I experienced 2 of those on that list. Especially the braking unexpectedly that you will see. Just slowed down on the straight as if he thought the race was done, I thought. But good job I was on the left of him, or it could have been a crash. So this is where the smart racers separate themselves, because they don't rush traffic. So there's some backmarker rules I want you to think to consider. Make the pass predictable. You don't surprise them, you keep the car position clearly, you show them where you're going. Half moves causes crashes. Another backmarker rule, pass on exits, not entries. The worst thing you can do is dive inside a backmarker into a braking zone because their braking points are different, their lines are different, and their awareness might be low. Excuse me. So I set up exits. I made sure I got a clean run and I passed on the straight. Backmarker rule 3. If it's not safe, don't do it. This might be the smartest rule in the whole of iRacing. If the backmarker pass is not clean, wait. Losing 0.3 seconds waiting is nothing. Losing 20 seconds repairing damage is everything. And this backmarker moment is where so many iRacers throw away strong finishers. They get excited, they get impatient, and suddenly a great race ends in misery. Smart racers keep calm even in the final minutes, especially in the final minutes. Okay, so the lesson and how you can copy this event every week. Now, let's turn this into something you can apply next time to your race, because this method works in rookies, D class, C class, A class, B class, endurance, sprints, absolutely everything. The Smart Racer checklist. Brake early lap 1. Refuse 3 wide unless forced. Keep the car stable early. Yield to faster cars instead of fighting. Identify dive bombers and leave margin. Overtake on exits, not desperation entries. Prioritise finishing position over corner wins. Treat backmarkers as hazards, whether they're passing you or you're passing them. And stay calm when others panic. So why does this work? Most races aren't decided by speed. They're this flipping cough, folks. Sorry about this. It's decided by who survives. And survival isn't luck, it's a behaviour. If you simply finish races cleanly, consistently, week after week, you climb. Because the iRacing ladder rewards one thing more than anything else, and it's that word again, consistency. And this is what smart racing gives you. It gives you the ability to show up, collect points, and walk away with your ratings intact, even when the race is messy. So, closing thoughts now if the race is finished. So, that's the story of how I qualified 17th and finished 6th in the FIA F4 this week. I really enjoyed the race. I only had 1x and I gained 11 iRating points. Not with aggression, not with hero moves, not with desperate late sends. Just by racing smart. Now, if you've watched all this on YouTube podcasts, keep replaying the footage. Watch the moments where other drivers panicked, they forced moves and created their own disasters. Then watch what the smart racer approach looks like. Slightly earlier braking, leaving space, staying predictable, and always putting the car in the safest possible place. And if you're listening on audio, try it in your next race. Drive lap 1 like it's survival mode, yield when needed, let reckless drivers go, avoid the ego battles, and stay calm around backmarkers. Because smart racing isn't just a style, it's a strategy, and it works. Now, before I sign off, I want a quick thank you to the show's sponsor, Outlap again. Outlap is built for sim racers who understand exactly what we've talked about today. Racing isn't about raw pace, it's about mindset, discipline, and showing up prepared. That's why Outlap's mantra is focus, prepare, perform. If you're the type of iRacer who wants to build ratings over time, race clean and keep improving week after week, Outlap is for you. It's not about hype, it's about doing the work, racing smart and being built for the long game. You'll find the latest Outlap tees, caps and race gear linked in the description, and I've been wearing one of the examples of their hats today. The link's in the show notes. Thanks for listening and watching the Lone Road iRacing podcast, and I'll see you on the next one. Happy iRacing.
Whatever it takes, we're racing, we're in the zone. Whatever it takes, we push hard, never alone. I'm in the cockpit, the engines roar, hear me now. We're racing circles, got a hustle made a vow. Chasing victory, it's all or nothing on the track. Speed is my motto, nothing's ever holding back. Whatever it takes, we're racing, we're in the zone.